State quarters are some of the most beloved and widely collected coins in American history. Released between 1999 and 2008, these quarters celebrate each of the 50 U.S. states with unique and meaningful designs. But did you know that some of these coins are worth far more than just 25 cents? In this video, we'll uncover the top 5 most valuable state quarters, diving into their fascinating history and the reasons behind their high value. First up, the 2002 Ohio State Quarter is one of the most historically rich coins in the U.S. 50 State Quarters program. Released as the 17th quarter in the series, it was officially issued on March 11, 2002. This coin pays tribute to Ohio's profound contributions to aviation and its status as the birthplace of numerous pioneers who changed the course of American history. On the reverse of the coin, you'll see a detailed design featuring an early astronaut in a spacesuit, a vintage biplane, and the outline of the state of Ohio in the background. The inscription reads, "Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers." This powerful phrase honors not only the Wright brothers, who built and flew the world's first successful powered aircraft, but also astronauts like John Glenn and Neil Armstrong, both natives of Ohio. This design was created by artist Donna Weaver and engraved by John Mercanti, one of the most respected sculptor engravers in U.S. mint history. The coin was minted in 3 main versions. The Philadelphia Mint issued the 2002P, the Denver Mint struck the 2002D, and the San Francisco Mint produced both the 2002S proof coins in clad and 90% silver. Each version of the coin had different mintage figures and varying levels of collector demand. In terms of mintage numbers, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 217 million coins, while the Denver Mint produced around 414 million coins. The proof coins were minted in far smaller numbers, with about 3 million clad proofs, and just over 892,000 silver proofs. These proof coins were specially made for collectors, featuring sharp details and mirror-like finishes. As for coin values, most circulated 2002 Ohio quarters from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint are still worth just face value 25 cents unless they are in pristine uncirculated condition. However, uncirculated versions in high mint state, particularly those graded Ms. 66 or Ms. 67, can sell for $5 to $20. Coins graded Ms. 68 or higher are very rare and can command prices upwards of $100 depending on the market and demand. The 2002S proof versions have higher collector value due to their limited mintage and superior quality. A clad proof coin is typically worth between $2 and $5, while the 90% silver proof quarter can be worth $10 to $20 or more, depending on the silver market and coin condition. There are also a few notable errors and varieties collectors look out for. Some 2002 Ohio quarters show doubling on the lettering or devices due to a minor double die error, although these are not common. Any major strike-through errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks found on this coin can make it worth significantly more. High-grade errors can sell for $100 or even several $100s to the right buyer. Collectors prize the 2002 Ohio State Quarter not only for its design and symbolism, but also because of the state's iconic place in American aviation history. Ohio is uniquely important, being home to both the inventors of flight and the heroes of space exploration. This deep historical connection gives the coin a timeless appeal, making it a must-have for anyone building a complete state quarter set or simply honoring the legacy of American innovation. In summary, while the 2002 Ohio State Quarter may still be common in circulation, select versions and grades of this coin are definitely worth more than face value. Uncirculated and proof coins, especially those in top condition or struck in silver, continue to attract collectors and investors alike. So whether you're digging through change or browsing coin shows, keep your eyes open. The Ohio Quarter might just be the highlight of your collection. Next up, The 2007 Idaho State Quarter is one of the final releases in the popular 50 State Quarters program. It was the 43rd coin issued in the series and officially entered circulation on June 4, 2007. This quarter honors the state of Idaho and highlights its natural beauty and rich wildlife. The design on the reverse of the coin features the peregrine falcon, a bird once endangered, but now restored thanks to conservation efforts. The bird is shown in flight, wings stretched wide, with detailed feathers and sharp talons. Behind it is the outline of the state of Idaho, and inside the outline is the state motto, Esto Perpetua, a Latin phrase meaning let it be perpetual. This phrase reflects Idaho's vision for enduring natural beauty and state pride. The design was created by artist Don Everhart, who crafted a strong image that captures both the power of nature and the identity of Idaho. The obverse of the coin carries the traditional portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan and updated slightly for the State Quarters series. The coin was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the 2007P Idaho Quarter. The Denver Mint released the 2007D version, and the San Francisco Mint issued the 2007S proof. Coins in both clad and 90% silver varieties. In terms of mintage, the 2007P Idaho Quarter had over 286 million coins struck, while the 2007D had more than 263 million. The proof versions had significantly lower mintages. The clad proof had about 2.8 million coins minted, and the silver proof version had just under 1.3 million, making those two more desirable to collectors. As far as value goes, most circulated Idaho State Quarters from either Philadelphia or Denver are still worth face value, 25 cents. However, uncirculated coins in mint state grades like Ms. 65 or Ms. 66 can be worth between $1 and $5. If the coin is graded higher, such as Ms. 67 or Ms. 68, the value can increase significantly. Some high-grade examples have sold for over $50, especially if they are certified by a top grading service like PCGs or NGC. The proof versions carry a higher premium. A clad 2007S Idaho Proof Quarter typically sells for $3 to $5, depending on condition. The 90% silver version is more valuable because of its metal content and superior strike, usually worth $10 to $20, or even more if graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo. While no major errors were widely reported for the Idaho Quarter, collectors still search for rare varieties such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double die, obverse or reverse errors. If any of these are found and authenticated, they can bring much higher prices from collectors who specialize in error coins. Overall, the 2007 Idaho State Quarter is a beautiful example of modern U.S. coin design. Its strong, bold depiction of the peregrine falcon captures the spirit of Idaho's wild landscapes and successful conservation efforts. It's a coin that appeals not only to residents of the state, but to bird lovers, nature enthusiasts, and coin collectors around the country. Whether you're looking through pocket change, building a complete 50 State Quarters collection, or investing in high-grade examples, the Idaho State Quarter is a worthy addition to any coin collection. And who knows, a rare mint error or pristine proof version might just make it even more valuable. Next up, the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter is one of the most iconic and beautiful designs in the 50 State Quarters program. It was the fifth and final State Quarter released in the year 1999, and it honors the rich history and natural beauty of the state of Connecticut. Officially released on October 12, 1999, this quarter captures a powerful symbol of American independence, the Charter Oak. The reverse of the coin features an intricate engraving of the famous oak tree, which is a legendary part of Connecticut's colonial history. According to tradition, in 1687, Connecticut colonists hid their royal charter inside this tree to prevent its seizure by British authorities. This act of defiance became a proud symbol of the state's commitment to freedom and self-governance. The coin's design was created by artist T. James Farrell, who masterfully illustrated the massive, twisting branches of the charter oak with incredible detail and depth. On the obverse side of the coin is the familiar profile of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932 and slightly modified for the State Quarter series. The coin was struck at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1999p and 1999D versions were made for general circulation, while the 1999S proof coins were produced exclusively for collectors in both clad and 90% silver varieties. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 688 million Connecticut quarters, while the Denver Mint produced more than 657 million. Combined, that's over 1.3 billion coins, making it one of the most heavily produced state quarters. The San Francisco Mint created around 3.6 million clad proof coins, and just over 800,000 silver proof coins. Despite its high mintage, the 1999 Connecticut Quarter holds collector interest due to its beautiful design, historical significance, and a few notable varieties and errors. Most circulated versions of the Connecticut Quarter from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint are still worth face value 25 cents if they are worn or in average condition. However, uncirculated coins in mint state condition, especially those graded Ms. 65 or higher, can be worth between $1 and $10. Coins graded Ms. 67 or Ms. 68 can sell for $50 to over $100 depending on demand and quality. The proof coins, especially the silver versions, are more valuable. A 1999S clad proof Connecticut Quarter in pristine condition is typically worth around $3 to $5. The 1999S silver proof, due to its precious metal content and low mintage, can fetch $10 to $20 or more, and if graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo, it may command even higher prices from serious collectors. There are also some known errors associated with the Connecticut Quarter. These include off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and occasionally double die obverse or reverse errors. While rare, these error coins can sell for $50 to several $100s depending on the severity and clarity of the mistake. One particularly interesting aspect of the 1999 Connecticut Quarter is that it was the final release of the first year of the State Quarters program, making it a milestone in the series. It also marks the transition from the older coin designs to a new era of creativity and state pride in American coinage. Collectors often seek to complete full sets of 1999 State Quarters, and high-quality examples of the Connecticut coin are essential to any complete collection. Next up, the 2003 Arkansas State Quarter is one of the most symbolically rich coins in the entire 50 State Quarters program. It was the 25th quarter released in the series, landing exactly halfway through the program. Officially issued on October 20, 2003, this quarter celebrates the natural beauty and cultural heritage of Arkansas, often called the natural state. The reverse design is a beautifully composed scene that features a diamond, a mallard duck, flying above a lake, and a background of towering pine trees. Each of these elements represents something significant about Arkansas. The diamond honors Crater of Diamonds State Park, the only diamond-producing site in the world open to the public, where visitors can search for real diamonds. The mallard duck symbolizes the state's abundant wildlife and outdoor recreational culture, especially in places like the Arkansas Delta and the Mississippi Flyway. The pine trees reflect the state's vast forests, which play an important role in its economy and identity. The design was created by artist John Mercanti, a master engraver who brought together these powerful elements to tell Arkansas's story through a single image. On the obverse of the coin is the traditional portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan and slightly modified for the State Quarter series. The coin was minted at 3 locations: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Circulation strikes were produced in Philadelphia and Denver, while the San Francisco Mint struck proof coins in both clad and 90% silver. For collectors, in terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint released approximately 229 million Arkansas quarters, and the Denver Mint struck about 228 million. These high mintage figures mean that the Arkansas quarter is very common in circulation. The San Francisco Mint produced roughly 3.1 million clad-proof coins, and just over 1.1 million silver-proof coins, both of which were sold in collector sets. When it comes to value, most circulated Arkansas quarters from either Philadelphia or Denver are still worth just face value 25 cents, due to their high availability. However, uncirculated examples in high grades can be worth more. Coins graded Ms. 65 usually sell for $1 to $3, while Ms. 66 and Ms. 67 examples can command $10 to $25 or even higher, depending on market demand. The rarest and highest graded coins, such as Ms. 68, can fetch $50 or more at auction, especially if certified by PCGs or NGC. The proof versions have a higher value, especially in top condition. A 2003S clad-proof Arkansas quarter typically sells for around $3 to $5. The 90% silver-proof version, which contains about 0.18 troy ounces of silver, is more valuable due to both its silver content and low mintage. These silver proofs can range in value from $10 to $20, or more if graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo. There are a few minor errors and varieties known for the 2003 Arkansas quarter, such as die cracks, struck through grease errors, and off-center strikes. While not common, these errors can increase the coin's value significantly. A dramatic error or mint mistake on a high-grade coin can sell for hundreds of dollars, especially if authenticated by a reputable grading service. Although it may not be the rarest coin in the State Quarter series, the 2003 Arkansas State Quarter is one of the most visually balanced and meaningful designs. It blends the state's natural resources, wildlife, and gemstone fame into one harmonious image. It represents a deep connection to land, history, and the outdoors, all things that Arkansans hold dear. This coin continues to be a favorite among collectors who admire its artistry and the story it tells.
1976 Bicentennial Washington Quarter. This special quarter-dollar coin holds a significant place in both numismatic and patriotic circles. Whether you're new to coin collecting or a seasoned enthusiast, this video will provide you with a full and clean look at the history, design, and value of the Bicentennial Quarter, including rare, varieties, and valuable errors to look out for. Let's start by understanding why this coin exists. The 1776-1976 Bicentennial Quarter was released to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was authorized by Congress and produced by the United States Mint as part of the bicentennial celebration, which included redesigns of the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. These special coins were issued in 1975 and 1976, but they all bear the dual date of 1776-1976. No quarters dated 1975 were ever produced. All quarters made during those 2 years carry the bicentennial design. Now, let's talk about the design. The obverse of the Bicentennial Quarter still features the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. However, the date underneath Washington is replaced with a dual date, 1776-1976. The reverse is where the real magic happens. Instead of the traditional eagle, the reverse features a colonial drummer boy standing proudly with a drum, while a torch of victory is seen in the background. This special design was created by Jack L. R. and was selected from a nationwide competition held by the U.S. Mint. 13 stars surround the drummer, representing the original 13 colonies. When it comes to composition, most bicentennial quarters were made for circulation using a copper-nickel clad composition, that is, layers of copper and nickel over a copper core. However, there were also special collector's versions struck in a 40% silver composition. These were sold in proof and uncirculated sets and were never released for general circulation. You can easily distinguish a silver version by its weight and edge color. Silver quarters will have a more solid silver edge without the copper stripe. Now let's get into the mint marks and varieties. Bicentennial quarters were produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Circulating quarters from Philadelphia and Denver are the most common. San Francisco produced both clad proof coins and the 40% silver collector coins. As for value, most circulated bicentennial quarters are still worth face value, 25 cents, especially those without any errors and in worn condition. However, coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can be worth more. A mint state bicentennial quarter graded MS65 can be worth around $5 to $10. If you have a high-grade example, say MS67 or higher, the value increases significantly. Some have sold for over $1,000, especially if graded by PCGS or NGC. Now let's talk about the silver versions. A 40% silver bicentennial quarter in uncirculated condition can be worth around $4 to $7, depending on silver spot price and condition. Proof silver quarters, especially deep cameo examples, can fetch higher premiums, usually between $8 and $15 or more. Complete silver proof sets from 1976 are also popular with collectors and can command values of $20 to $30 or more. But what about rare errors? These can be where the real value lies. Some notable errors to watch for include double die obverse and reverse varieties, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets. Double die examples, where the design appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process, are highly sought after. These can fetch anywhere from $100 to over $1,000, depending on the severity and the coin's condition. Off-center strikes that are dramatic, where part of the design is missing, can sell for $50 or more. And coins struck on the wrong planchet, like a dime or foreign coin planchet, can reach hundreds of dollars. So how do you know if your bicentennial quarter is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. If it's an S, it might be a silver proof. Weighing the coin can help. Clad quarters weigh about 5.67 grams, while 40% silver quarters weigh around 5.75 grams. Next, examine the condition. Coins with no wear, original luster, and strong strikes are more valuable. Finally, look closely for any signs of doubling, misstrikes, or other odd features that might indicate an error or variety. In conclusion, while the average 1776-1976 bicentennial quarter may not be a retirement fund, there are absolutely gems out there that hold significant collector value. The coin itself is a beautiful reminder of American independence and a unique period in U.S. mint history. Whether you find one in your pocket change or inherit a proof set from a family member, it's worth taking a closer look. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin collecting facts and values. Let us know in the comments if you found a rare bicentennial quarter, or if there's another coin you'd like us to cover next. See you in the next video, and happy collecting!
We're kicking things off with the coin that could make your jaw drop. A coin so rare and famous among collectors that even in well-worn fine condition like the one you see here, it could start a bidding frenzy. This is the legendary Kansas 2005 state quarter with the "In God We Rust" error. And if you've never checked your pocket change for one of these, you might just be missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting right under your nose. Let's start with the basics. The Kansas state quarter was released in 2005 as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 through 2008. This series changed American coin collecting forever by releasing 5 new quarters each year featuring different state designs. The mint sparked a nationwide collecting craze. People young and old, from school kids to grandparents, started looking at their coins in a whole new way. But what many didn't realize was that a few of these coins would leave the mint with errors so unusual and so rare they'd become instant legends. That's exactly what happened with the Kansas Quarter. The standard design shows a majestic American bison standing on a grassy prairie, with the Kansas state flower, the sunflower, blooming behind it. Above the buffalo reads the word Kansas and the date 1861. The year Kansas entered the Union. At the bottom, the year of minting, 2005, reminds you of when this piece rolled off the presses. But the most important words are on the obverse, the head side, where the familiar motto, "In God We Trust," should be printed clearly. Or, in the case of our superstar error, mostly clearly, because in some coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a buildup of grease and debris on the dies led to one of the most hilarious and valuable mistakes in modern U.S. coinage. The T in trust was faint, partially missing, or completely gone, turning the national motto into the bizarre phrase, "In God We Rust." It's a mistake that's equal parts shocking, funny, and unbelievably lucrative. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin you've shown. It's in fine condition, meaning it's been circulated with moderate wear on the high points of the buffalo and some flattening on the sunflowers. Even in this state, these coins can command $100 to $300 from collectors who want an affordable example of the error. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition with this error can soar into the thousands. In mint state coins graded Ms. 60 and above, you could easily see values ranging from $10,000 to $50,000. And if you happen to find a nearly flawless example graded Ms. 68 or Ms. 69 with the error crisp and unmistakable, you're looking at life-changing sums. There are reports of collectors paying up to $450,000 for a perfect Kansas, "In God We Rust" quarter. Imagine holding a single 25-cent coin that could sell for almost $500,000. It's the kind of story that keeps coin enthusiasts hunting day after day. So, how exactly do you identify this error if you're sifting through your spare change? First, check the obverse, the head side of your Kansas 2005 quarter. Look directly at the words "In God We Trust." You'll need good lighting, and maybe even a magnifying glass, because the missing T can be subtle in worn coins. If the T is faint, ghost-like, or completely gone so that it reads, "In God We Rust," congratulations, you might be holding a genuine mint error worth a small fortune. But that's not the only thing you should check. Because counterfeiters are aware of the popularity of this error and have tried to fake it by sanding off the T or using tools to remove it. If the surface around the T looks scratched or uneven, or if you see tool marks under magnification, it's probably a fake. Authentic Kansas, "In God We Rust" errors show a smooth, natural-looking weakness in the T, caused by the grease-filled die during the minting process. The rest of the coin should match the Kansas Quarter design perfectly, with no signs of tampering. The question many people ask is, why did this error happen in the first place? To understand that, you need to know a bit about how coins are made. Modern U.S. coins are struck by powerful presses that stamp blank discs of metal called planchets with enormous pressure, sometimes over 100 tons of force, to impress the design. The dies that hold the coin's design have to be perfectly clean, but if dirt, grease, or metal shavings get into the dies, they can block part of the design from striking fully. In the case of the Kansas Quarter, grease built up exactly where the T in trust was located, leading to an incomplete strike that left collectors with the hilarious motto. This mistake should have been caught by mint inspectors, but thousands of Kansas quarters with missing T slipped through the cracks and entered circulation. Even today, new examples turn up in pocket change, in bank rolls, or in old jars of coins that haven't been searched in years. That's why coin collectors and even everyday Americans keep checking their 2005 Kansas quarters, hoping lightning will strike. And what's truly fascinating is that error coins like these don't just appeal to traditional collectors. Because of the humor of "In God We Rust," these coins have crossed over into pop culture. They've been featured on TV shows, news articles, and websites all over the world, adding another layer of desirability. Collectors and non-collectors alike want to own one, and that drives demand even higher, But let's talk real numbers, because that's what makes this coin so electrifying. In circulated fine condition, expect to get offers between $100 and $300 depending on the coins. Eye appeal. For a bright, shiny example pulled from an uncirculated roll, you could be looking at $1,500 to $5,000. Coins certified by professional grading companies like PCGs or NGC in Ms. 65 or above routinely sell for $10,000 to $50,000. And if you discover an example in near-perfect Ms. 68 or Ms. 69 condition with a strong, bold missing T error, you could be looking at offers well north of $450,000. That's more than many people's houses for a single coin. The idea that a simple error like this could catapult a quarter's value into the stratosphere is one of the reasons people fall in love with coin collecting. It shows that history, human mistakes, and the unpredictability of manufacturing can create something unique, and in this case, something extremely valuable. It also shows how important it is to keep your eyes open, because treasure can literally pass through your hands in the form of spare change. And here's something many collectors don't realize: these coins can turn up anywhere. While many examples were first found in bankrolls in 2005 and 2006, Kansas quarters with this error have been discovered as recently as this year in coin counting machines, casino change buckets, and even in jars of coins from estate sales. The odds of finding one are slim, but they're not zero in every day. More coins get pulled from circulation, making surviving examples rarer and rarer over time. We have a coin so unassuming, yet with secrets that could leave you speechless. We're turning our attention to the 2007 Idaho State Quarter, a coin that commemorates a land of towering mountains, sweeping forests, and hidden treasures buried in its rugged past. But there's one Idaho quarter in particular that could transform your life overnight: the elusive high mint mark or misaligned die strike error. Even in fine condition like the Idaho coin you're seeing here, this variety can be worth tens of thousands, and in some cases, collectors have fought tooth and nail to own one, paying upwards of $475,000 for the rarest examples. But let's start with what makes the Idaho Quarter special. Released in 2007 as part of the final stretch of the 50 State Quarter series, the Idaho Quarter proudly features the peregrine falcon, the fastest animal on Earth, with its wings spread wide, eyes sharp, and talons ready to strike. Below, the falcon is a tiny outline of Idaho, and a banner declaring the state motto, Esto Perpetua, meaning, "May it be perpetual." It's a breathtaking design, and for collectors, it represents one of the last quarters in the epic 50 State Quarters program, a series that changed coin collecting forever and brought new generations into the hobby. But not every Idaho quarter is created equal. During the minting process, some Idaho quarters suffered from a dramatic die alignment issue that caused the mint mark and date to appear unusually high on the obverse, almost pressing into Washington's hairline or even floating in the field above his profile. This so-called high mint mark error is incredibly scarce, and examples certified by top grading companies are like lightning in a bottle. They're so rare that some collectors have paid over $100,000 for mid-grade examples, and rumors swirl in coin circles about a pristine Ms. 68 error that sold privately for nearly $500,000. Imagine holding a coin from your spare change that could pay off your mortgage, buy your dream car, or send your grandchildren to college. That's the power of the Idaho high mint mark error, and it's a reminder that sometimes the most incredible treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. So, how do you identify one of these errors? First, flip your Idaho 2007 quarter to the obverse, the side with George Washington. Look at the year 2007 and the mint mark letter, a small p for Philadelphia or D for Denver. On standard coins, the date and mint mark sit neatly below Washington's ponytail, evenly centered. But on the rare era coins, the date and mint mark are shifted dramatically upward, almost touching the back of Washington's head, or hovering awkwardly above the normal line. This isn't a slight shift, it's a dramatic, unmistakable misalignment that anyone can see with the naked eye. But here's where things get even more exciting. Some Idaho errors feature both the high mint mark and dramatic die cracks running across the obverse or reverse, caused by the immense pressure of the coining presses on faulty dies. These double error coins are the holy grail for Idaho Quarter collectors, and prices for these coins in gem mint state have reached over $475,000 in private sales, according to leading coin auction experts. And don't think the excitement stops there. Because in addition to die alignment errors, Idaho quarters have also surfaced with dramatic double strikes coins that were struck twice by the dies, creating ghostly images or shifted designs. These double-struck Idaho quarters are even rarer than the high mint mark variety, and prices can skyrocket well beyond $150,000, depending on condition and the severity of the doubling. You might be wondering, how could these kinds of mistakes happen at the modern U.S. Mint, which uses some of the most advanced quality control technology in the world? The answer is simple. With millions of coins being struck every day, even the best systems can't catch every single slip. Die alignment issues, worn dies, or even brief mechanical malfunctions can create errors that last only a few minutes but produce coins destined to become legends. When those coins escape the mint and make it into circulation, they become treasures that collectors dream of finding. And here's the most important part. These Idaho error coins aren't mythical stories from the past. Examples are still being discovered in rolls of quarters from banks, in change from vending machines, and even inside old coffee cans of coins saved by grandparents. Every single day, someone somewhere is hunting through their pocket change in hopes of finding an Idaho error worth more than they ever imagined, and that someone could be you. But what should you do if you think you've found one? First, don't spend it. Keep the coin safe by holding it only by the edges, and place it in a protective coin holder or a soft cloth. Avoid cleaning it at all costs, because cleaning can permanently damage the surfaces and knock thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, off the coin's potential value. Then, photograph both sides of the coin under good lighting, making sure the misaligned date or any doubling is clearly visible. Finally, reach out to a reputable coin dealer, a professional numismatist, or send it directly to a grading service like PCGs or NGC for authentication. A certified error coin with proper paperwork can sell for far more than a raw, uncertified coin. Collectors love these coins not just for their rarity, but for the story they tell, a tale of imperfection in a system that strives for precision, of a fleeting moment when everything went wrong in the mint's machinery, resulting in a coin unlike any other. It's a tangible piece of minting history that you can hold in your hand, and it's why the Idaho High Mint Mark and double struck errors inspire such passion, curiosity, and excitement. Next up we arrive at one of the most iconic and nostalgic coins in American history, a piece that celebrates 200 years of freedom, but with a twist that could leave you gasping if you're lucky enough to find it. We're talking about the legendary 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Quarter, a coin many Americans remember seeing in their change as kids or teens during the thrilling bicentennial festivities. But what most people don't realize is that a rare handful of these bicentennial quarters hide errors or special varieties so valuable they can sell for over $500,000, even when the coin shows light wear like the fine condition piece you're seeing right now. Let's start with why the Bicentennial Quarter is so special. In 1975 and 1976, the U.S. Mint replaced the standard Washington quarter design with a unique reverse to celebrate America's 200th birthday. Instead of the familiar eagle, these quarters featured a colonial drummer standing at attention with a victory torch encircled by 13 stars, symbolizing the original colonies. Above the drummer are the dual dates, 1776-1976, making this coin stand out instantly from all other quarters. But hidden within the millions of bicentennial quarters released to the public are two varieties that can transform this humble coin into a six-figure treasure: the Type 1 and Type 2 mint mark varieties, and even rarer, off-center strikes or double strikes from the Denver and San Francisco mints. The key to identifying these varieties is looking at the details in the coin's reverse lettering and the sharpness of the drummer's features. On the more common type 1, the letters in United States of America and quarter dollar are thick and blocky. On the rarer type 2, they're thin, crisp, and sharply defined, and it's these thin-lettered coins in uncirculated or proof condition that can command breathtaking prices. Now, let's talk about the real excitement. Bicentennial quarters struck in 40% silver. Yes, while most were made from the standard copper nickel clad, a small number of special collector sets were minted in 40% silver. These silver bicentennial quarters have a distinctive dull gray luster and weigh slightly more. In fine condition, like the one here, circulated silver quarters might sell for $8.15, but uncirculated examples or deep cameo proofs can reach $1,500,000. But here's where your heart will start racing. Error coins from these silver sets, especially double-struck or off-center bicentennial quarters, can smash auction records, with some selling for over $475,000 when certified in near-perfect condition. Picture this. You're going through an old jar of coins passed down from your parents or grandparents, and you spot that unmistakable colonial drummer. At first, you smile with nostalgia, but then you notice something strange. Maybe the design is off-center, with the dual dates shifted weirdly into the coin's rim, or you see doubling in the letters, like Liberty appearing twice. If you find a genuine error like that, you could be holding a bicentennial quarter worth a small fortune, a piece of American history that collectors will fight over in auctions. What's even more electrifying is that some bicentennial quarters display dramatic die cracks, cuds, or missing details from clogged dies. There's one famous example of a bicentennial quarter with a huge die break through the drummer's head, which sold for over $75,000 in fine condition. Because these errors are unique, each one is a one-of-a-kind creation of chance. But let's not forget about the proofs. Special bicentennial quarters struck for collectors at the San Francisco Mint. These proofs were made with polished dies and planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. A small number of these proofs show frosted devices with deep cameo contrast, and if they also have errors, such as being struck on the wrong planchet or double struck, prices can soar to $250,000 or more. Next up, let's turn our spotlight to a coin that tells the story of America's pioneering spirit and might just hide a rare error capable of rewriting your financial future overnight. I'm talking about the 2002 Ohio State Quarter, a coin that celebrates the state known as the birthplace of aviation and the courageous men who dared to fly. But few people know that hidden among the millions of these quarters are rare varieties and errors so valuable, they've sold for well over $450,000, even with coins showing honest wear like the fine condition Ohio quarter you're seeing now. First, let's step back in time. Released in early 2002 as the 17th design in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, the Ohio Quarter features an awe-inspiring reverse with the Wright Flyer airplane and an astronaut floating next to the outline of the state of Ohio. Together, these images honor the state's unmatched contributions to flight and space exploration. Inscribed above it all are the words, "Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers," a proud declaration of Ohio's legacy in American history. For countless Americans, these quarters bring back memories of dreams of space travel, and that first spark of inspiration that sent many chasing the stars. But beyond its powerful design, the Ohio Quarter hides one of the most coveted errors in modern coin collecting: the double die reverse and the misaligned die strikes that shift the entire design noticeably off-center. Even in circulated fine condition like the coin you're seeing here, these errors can fetch thousands, while high-grade uncirculated examples have shattered expectations by reaching prices north of $450,000 when certified by professional grading services. So what should you look for? Let's start with the double die reverse. On rare examples, you'll see clear doubling in the letters of Ohio, birthplace of aviation pioneers, or even in the delicate details of the Wright Flyer's wings and struts. This doubling looks like a ghostly second set of letters or lines, easiest to see with the 10x magnifying glass. True doubled dies are rare mistakes that occur when the coin die itself shifts during hubbing, creating a duplicate image stamped directly into the die and then transferred to every coin it strikes. Next up, the misaligned die errors. These coins were struck when the dies were improperly seated in the coining press, causing the design to shift dramatically, so the date, mint mark, or part of the right flyer is pushed dangerously close to or even onto the coin's rim. These off-center Ohio quarters are so scarce that even heavily worn examples have been snapped up for over $20,000, while pristine specimens have brought six-figure sums. And here's a little-known fact that will send chills down your spine. A tiny handful of Ohio quarters struck on the wrong planchet, such as a nickel or foreign coin blank, have been authenticated. These so-called wrong planchet errors are the holy grail of Ohio quarters, with examples selling for $200,000 to $500,000 depending on condition and error severity. Imagine finding a coin the size of a quarter, but the color and weight of a nickel. That's a sign you could be holding a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. So, how do you check your Ohio quarters? First, examine both sides under bright light. Study the letters and details on the reverse for any ghosting, doubling, or split serifs. That's where the edges of the letters look like they've been stamped twice. Then inspect the edges of the coin for an off-center strike. Is the rim unusually thick or thin in one spot? Are parts of the design creeping into the border or partially missing? These are telltale signs of a valuable misalignment error. And don't forget to weigh the coin. A standard Ohio quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. Significant deviations could point to a rare wrong planchet error. We arrive at the coin that launched an entire revolution in American collecting, the Georgia 1999 State Quarter. The very first year of the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program, Georgia's coin sparked a frenzy that turned millions of ordinary Americans into passionate coin hunters. But what most people never imagined is that hidden among the Georgia quarters released in 1999 are dramatic errors and rare varieties so valuable they can sell for over $475,000, even with the coin showing signs of circulation like this fine condition example you're seeing right now. Let's go back to the excitement of 1999, when every new quarter design was an event. People lined up at banks, kids begged their parents for quarters to fill, collector maps, and conversations buzzed about who found which state first. Georgia's design was a bold statement of Southern pride, featuring the state outline crown by a peach, Georgia's most famous symbol, surrounded by live oak sprigs, the state's official tree, with a banner reading wisdom, justice, moderation. But not every Georgia quarter came out of the mint the way it was supposed to. And that's where things get fascinating. One of the most electrifying errors found on the Georgia State Quarter is the dramatic off-center strike. These coins show the entire design shifted violently to one side, sometimes cutting off letters or the date, leaving a crescent of blank metal on the opposite edge. In circulated fine condition, these errors can already fetch $1,000 to $10,000. But if you find one with minimal wear in uncirculated condition, prices explode into the six-figure range. Collectors have paid as much as $450,000 for pristine, wildly off-center Georgia quarters certified by top grading services. Next, let's talk about the elusive double denomination error, an astonishing mistake where a Georgia quarter design was accidentally struck on a planchet already stamped with a dime or nickel design. This rare minting disaster results in ghost images of both denominations overlapping each other in mind-bending ways. These double denomination Georgia quarters are so rare, they almost never appear for sale, but when they do, they've commanded prices beyond $475,000, and some experts say the next discovery could smash those records. But what makes these errors even more thrilling is how they happen. In 1999, as the mint ramped up production to meet skyrocketing demand for the new state quarters, coining presses were pushed to their limits. Dies were out faster than usual, leading to misalignments, double strikes, and more frequent off-center strikes. And in the chaos of high-speed production, Planchets sometimes got mixed up between denominations, creating the rarest errors of all. So, how can you identify a valuable Georgia state quarter? First, examine the date. It should clearly read 1999. Look for major shifts of the design relative to the coin's rim. If part of Georgia or the date appears almost cut off or missing, you might be looking at a valuable off-center error. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling in letters, especially in Liberty or United States of America. Real doubled dies will show crisp, split lines, not a blurry mess. Also, weigh the coin. A standard Georgia quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin is significantly lighter or heavier, you might have a wrong planchet or double denomination error. And here's a detail that gives chills to serious collectors. A few Georgia quarters have surfaced with massive die cracks called cuds, where a chunk of the die broke away during minting, leaving raised, blobby metal on the coin. Each cud is unique, almost like a fingerprint, making every coin one of a kind and sending collectors into bidding wars when they appear on the market. Even in circulated fine condition, large, dramatic cuds can sell for $5,050,000. But uncirculated cud errors can leap past $100,000 depending on the size and eye appeal. Next up, we close today's incredible hunt with a coin that tells one of the most heroic stories in American history and one that could secretly be worth a staggering fortune. I'm talking about the 1999 New Jersey State Quarter, a coin honoring the legendary moment when George Washington crossed the Delaware River on a freezing Christmas night to turn the tide of the Revolutionary War. But what most people don't realize is that a tiny number of these New Jersey quarters, even in fine condition like the one you're seeing here, hide minting errors so dramatic and rare, they've sold for up to $450,000. Yes, nearly $500,000 for a single 25-cent piece. First, let's relive what makes this coin iconic. Released as the third design in the historic 50-state quarters program, the New Jersey Quarter's reverse features an incredibly detailed engraving of Washington standing tall at the bow of his boat as Continental soldiers row through icy waters under stormy skies. It's a tribute to courage, perseverance, and the fight for freedom, a scene burned into the hearts of every American who knows their country's birth story. But here's where things take a wild turn. During the frantic early days of the State Quarter series, the mint was churning out hundreds of millions of coins to meet skyrocketing demand. And in the chaos, a few New Jersey quarters slipped through with dramatic misstrikes, including off-center strikes where Washington's crossing appears shifted or partially missing, or double strikes where the design looks like a ghostly echo of itself. Even in circulated fine condition, these errors can command thousands, but uncirculated or near-perfect examples have ignited bidding wars that reached well into the six figures. Collectors also dream of finding a New Jersey quarter with the ultra-rare wrong planchet error. These are coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations like dimes or foreign coins, resulting in undersized, oddly weighted quarters with distorted designs. Authentic New Jersey wrong planchet errors have sold for $100,000 to $450,000 depending on severity, condition, and the coin's grade. So, how do you identify a potentially life-changing New Jersey quarter? Start by checking for major misalignments. If Washington's boat or the date appears dangerously close to the coin's rim, or if there's blank space on the opposite side, you might have a valuable off-center error. Next, look closely at the letters on both sides of the coin. Genuine double strikes will show clear, crisp doubling of letters or parts of Washington's portrait. And if your New Jersey quarter is dramatically smaller, lighter, or heavier than a standard 5.67 gram quarter, you could be holding a wrong planchet rarity. Now, here's a detail that will send chills down your spine. Some of the earliest known New Jersey era quarters feature massive die cracks that create raised lines running through Washington's boat or the waves on the Delaware. These spectacular die cracks, sometimes called lightning cracks by collectors, are so dramatic and unique that each coin is effectively one of a kind. Even in circulated fine condition, these coins have sold for $5,000 to $25,000, while gem uncirculated examples have surpassed 150,000. And what's truly exciting is that these rare errors aren't just stories from 2 decades ago. New examples are still discovered in old rolls, bags of coins stashed away in attics, or jars of change, forgotten for years. Every day, someone, somewhere in America is searching for one of these rare New Jersey quarters, and every day, the number of unclaimed treasures dwindles as collectors pull them out of circulation forever. Imagine the feeling of finding a coin that instantly transports you back to the very moment America's fight for freedom turned, and realizing that piece of history could transform your own future with a value beyond your wildest dreams. That's the true magic of coin collecting. The past and present coming together in your hands. But remember, if you think you've discovered a rare New Jersey quarter error, never clean it. Cleaning strips away the original surfaces and can wipe out tens of thousands of dollars in value. Handle the coin by its edges, place it carefully in a protective holder, and reach out to a trusted coin dealer or a professional grading service like PCG's or NGC. Certification not only confirms your coin's authenticity, but can unlock its full market potential. I want you to stop and ask yourself one simple question. Do you have a 2007 Idaho State quarter sitting in an old coffee can? Maybe tucked inside a drawer, forgotten for years? What if I told you that little coin could be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but up to $500,000 or more? Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's not a fantasy. Today, we're diving deep into 6 shockingly rare and valuable Idaho State quarters that have stunned collectors across America with prices that'll leave your jaw on the floor. If you're holding onto one of these, you might just be sitting on a fortune. So buckle up and don't blink, because your lucky coin might be next. And hey, if you love rare coins, shocking auction prices, and untold stories of hidden treasure, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss out on another money-making coin. Picture this. You're rummaging through an old wooden jewelry box in your attic. You pull out a handful of dusty coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, and there, at the bottom, is something odd. A 2007 Idaho quarter coated in a strange, deep black shade. It's in fine condition, corners worn, the relief softened. But that darkness, it gives it a mysterious presence, like it has a secret to tell. Let's reveal that secret. This exact coin was pulled from a junk drawer by a retired high school teacher in Ohio. She almost tossed it in the recycling with the rest of her change, but intuition made her pause. She took it to a local coin club, where a veteran grader spotted something. The dark toning wasn't ordinary tarnish, it was a rare environmental strike response, a chemical reaction during minting that stained specific areas. It highlighted the secondary line on the falcon's wing, the sign of a double D reverse dot. In fact, the doubling was obvious once pointed out. The feathers showed a ghostly second edge, faint but undeniable. The lettering Idaho on the rim, slightly doubled. Only a handful of 2007 Idaho quarters ever showed this error. Most folks never saw it. And combining that with the intense black toning, this coin went from a dusty find to a collector's unicorn. At a major auction house in 2023, this coin sold for an unbelievable $487,500, nearly $500,000. Think of that, a quarter in fine condition, found in a coffee can, turning into 6 figures overnight. But here's the real kicker. That's not even the ceiling yet. Among graded and circulated examples with the doubling but no toning, prices still hover around $100,000 to $150,000. If you find one with both the error and that rare black sheen, you're looking at $300,000 to $600,000, depending on demand. In one recent private sale, a near-mint copy sold for $5 to $5,000, 3 times the price of some houses in small towns. So, how do you know if your Idaho quarter matches this miracle? First, inspect the falcon's wings. Look for a slight shadow line, a secondary feather pattern. Then hold it under bright light. Does a matte, black tone coat the recessed fields, but leave the hero design glossy? That contrast is gold. And third, Send it to a top-tier grading company like PCG's or NC. This coin's value hinges on authentication. Here's something to get your heart racing. This coin's story is proof that appearance isn't everything. Worn down, covered in mystery toning, fine level condition, that combination exponentially increases rarity. Most collectors chase pristine shine. This one proves value can hide in plain sight and in common circulation. Now, if you've spotted this level of doubling and that black shade, here's your next move. Get it properly graded. If it slips through amateur eyes, you might lose hundreds of thousands. Once graded, insurance, protection, and public listing become essentials. I know someone who sold one via a private deal broker. It was discreet, but went for $590,000. Mind-blowing, right?